everyone, this is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Today you're watching a sponsored post by the Home Depot for their 2019 Patio Style Challenge. Now, in addition to having some great decor and decorating ideas, I'm also going to be doing some great DIY projects that's going to enhance your outdoor entertaining experience. The first project up is making a long rectangular planter out of gutter material. Now, gutter material is available in 10-foot lengths, so let's say you have a very long dining table outdoors. You can actually make this up to 10 feet long, have it run down the center of the table, and you can have plants or you can have drinks in here, whatever you'd like, because this is going to be watertight. It's going to hold both of those and make it dual purpose for your outdoor entertaining. So the first thing we need to do is measure and mark where you'd like to cut it. Mine happens to be 27 inches long. Mark it nice and square. I have a pair of tin snips here. So 2 hands sometimes work better than 1 to get through this process, and it's relatively easy to cut through. We're going to go ahead and bend this out of the way and get our tin snips in there a little bit easier. The cutting process might cause the metal to get a little misshapen, so go ahead and take a pair of pliers and just bend it back into shape very gently. Now I have 2 end caps per gutter. You need a right side and a left side. I'm going to work on the right side. I'll be placing this face down on a work surface, and all I'm going to do here is get the gutter to go into this little area here right in the crease and lining this up and just pressing this into place. And since I'm making 2, I'm going to repeat the process. And then I'm just taking a self-tapping screw, placing it right in the front of the gutter. Now I have the 2 gutters lined back to back, and so I'm just going to take the center and pinch it together here, and I've got another self-tapping screw that I'm going to drive through the 2 layers, and then I'll pull the ends nice and tight into the center, grab another self-tapping screw, and go through all the layers. So this is what I wind up with. I have 27 inches of gutter, nice and secure back to back. I have 4 end caps in place, nice and secure, and so at this point all I really need to do is go ahead and apply some gutter sealant. I'm also going to be using a caulk gun, and so what you need to do here is you just need to insert this little rod into the tip and make sure that you're poking through the hole so that the product comes out. And this doesn't need to be neat at all. You really are just making sure that you're filling in all of the gaps. And I also like to put a little bit of gutter sealant over the top of these screw heads so that in case somebody reaches in here for a drink, they're not going to get their hand cut. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to let this sit here and dry overnight, and the seams have dried nicely overnight. And you know what? At this point, you're ready to go. If you'd like to fill this with drinks, you can line these up just like soldiers all the way down the entire gutter material. It'll look really nice and neat. But in my case, I'm using this as a planter, so what I need to do is fill each compartment with some hard material, something like gravel or river pebbles. So I'll fill the bottom about 1 inch. Well, this is really all you need to promote good drainage, and I'm just filling up each trough with some garden soil. So I'm filling my container with good quality grass seed, and you've noticed I have a sun and shade mix here. This really takes all the guesswork out of allowing the grass to grow in just the right spot. My spot happens to be a mixture of sun and shade, so I'm assured that this will grow no matter what type of sun conditions that I have in my location. Now I'm making sure that I'm getting everything nice and even all across the surface because I want a nice even amount of grass growing from end to end. My 2 small handfuls of grass seed are evenly distributed over the top of the soil, and at this point I'm going to start watering it with a watering sprayer. So this watering sprayer is really convenient, and what it does is it doesn't overwater your grass seed. You don't want this sitting in a puddle even though grass seed loves to remain wet. So over the course of the next 10 days or so, I'll just come over to this area and I'll just water it, making sure that it's not going to dry out. And because spring hasn't quite arrived yet in my area, I'm giving this a little boost with a plant light. So this one is 120 watt. I'm going to keep this on night and day until I have the seedlings grow to the height that I'd like. So I'm also going to be showing you 3 different uses for the all-purpose Home Depot bucket that we've all been walking by at the entrances to our local Home Depot for years. These are going to be turned into beautiful patio accessories with just a few little additions. They're going to be gorgeous, and you're all going to be running out to buy several of these. So I have my cordless drill outfitted with a 3/8 inch bit, and I'm just going to go to the edge of the bucket, maybe about 1 inch in, and go ahead and drill several holes. I'm only drilling holes in 2 of the 6 buckets, and now that that's done, let's take the project outside. The goal of the day is to paint 4 of the 6 buckets with spray paint. Now I have spray paint specially formulated for plastic. I have 2 of the buckets with holes drilled in the bottom and 2 without. I'm weighting them down just in case the slight breeze that's out here today takes these for a ride. I don't want them going anywhere. So these are weighted down. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away the handles. So all you're going to do here is take a utility knife, get in here and just cut this out so you can remove the handles. So make sure that you choose a color that coordinates really well with your patio furniture. In my case, it's a neutral. And all I'm going to do is show you here how to get a beautiful, flawless finish on this bucket surface. You're going to start spray painting just before you reach the bucket, and then you'll release the trigger right after you leave the bottom. So here we go. Just like this. It's going to give you a flawless finish all the way around the surface. So now that the outside is done, I'm coming back in and I'm getting about 2 or 3 inches down on the inside. The buckets are nice and dry, and I've chosen the ones with the holes on the bottom. And so I'm using these as planters, and I'm putting in some arborvitae trees. What I'm going to do is take some of these river pebbles and put about an inch layer on the bottom just for drainage. So now I'm going to take a crude measurement of the depth of the bucket that the arborvitae is planted in. And I'm just going to make sure that I have enough garden soil on the bottom of my new bucket so that this lays nice and even with the top of this bucket. And then now that that's done, I can lift it in place right inside the planter. Now the second one is ready to go. I think the planters look beautiful and elegant just the way they are. They make these trees look really statuesque. But I'm going to cover up this little ridged area at the top. It's going to help us do something with some rope, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So I have 1/2 inch manila rope. I have 9 feet per bucket. Since I have a nice open patio space, I don't have a ceiling above it to hang accessories or plants from, and I'd like to create something outdoors that's going to do the same thing. So I'm creating this little structure out of 2 painted buckets and 3 4x4 cedar posts. Well, here's my quick sketch of this easy project. So here are my 2 buckets. I'm going to be placing 2 posts inside of them and then place a post all the way across. And I'd like a decorative edge along that top rail. So all I'm going to do is just line this up with my saw and saw this off. And now I'll clean it all up with a mouse sander. That looks really nice. In order to secure the 3 posts together, I'm using some deck hardware like this. This is going to slide right over the top of the post, and it'll allow the other post to slide right in through the top. So I can make this giant U nice and secure so it'll hold some weight. So I went ahead and bought some ceiling rosettes and painted them black. I'm going to place it straight over the top of this hole, and then I can cover all of this up and make it look really pretty. And this is all just flat black paint. Now I'm getting ready to set the post inside the bucket, and I'm using some Quikrete fast setting concrete for this job. It takes about 15 minutes to set up. It makes it really speedy, but the most important aspect of the whole job is to purchase one of these plant stands. Now this is metal. It supports 110 pounds and it's on wheels, so it's going to make this completely movable over the course of the entire summer. I can put this structure anywhere on my patio that I want to without breaking my back. Because I'm working alone, I prop the post up against the garage door to give me an extra hand. I made sure that it's in this very center of the bucket, and I've also made sure that both posts are facing in the right direction. So now I'm grabbing a bag of concrete. It might be a little heavy for you to handle, but all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pour it in the bucket around the post. Now I'm checking for plumb. Make sure you do it in both directions. And then 1 gallon of water goes in the top. Let's do the next one. This one's all set too. The concrete is pretty much set. Everything is in here nice and straight and even. And all I'm doing here, I'm going to show you a different way where you could tie this. So we're knotting this in that giant knot again, and we're taking the ends and we're just going to slip them underneath this top rope. So if you don't like these little pieces kind of sticking and hanging down, you can make them go up underneath here and secure them in place with the rope on top. Now that the concrete is dry, I have an 1/8 inch drill bit in my drill, and I'm drilling small holes right at the top of the concrete to avoid water puddling. And then the river pebbles are going to serve dual purpose, because not only will they be decorative, they're also going to add extra weight to this structure. The last project is really the most fun. I'm creating extra storage on the patio out of orange buckets and some burlap that I found in the garden section. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be covering over the top of it, and you do need some supplies. So you do need a paper bag like this, and you need some liquid starch. You need to lay out your burlap with the bucket on top. So the bucket is just going to lay right in the center of this. You're going to measure about 2 inches higher than one side of the bucket and 2 inches higher on the other side. And you're going to cut it to that dimension. Make sure you have 2 pieces of this, and we'll move on to the next step. The brown bag has been cut so it reaches the floor and comes just underneath this lip. I'm going to take it, I'm going to wrap it around the bucket and tape it in place. The burlap goes into the bucket, and I have rubber gloves on. We're going to put the entire 2 quarts of liquid starch into the bucket along with the burlap. And I'm just going to mix this around until the burlap is really well saturated. The case of water is sitting on the floor. I need something to prop up the bucket. It's upside down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the burlap out of here, and I'm going to place it in one direction and then take the other piece and place it in the other direction. So make sure you keep adjusting this until you cover the entire lip of the bucket, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to smooth all of this down and in place. Now I have a giant rubber band. I'm going to slip it over the top of the bucket here. And if you've got a rope or something like that, you just need something that's going to secure it to these little rungs here on the top of the bucket and let it dry. Buckets are nice and dry, and the grill got delivered this morning, so I'm in really good shape for this patio style challenge. So let me show you how this pops off. You know, these are really stiff, and believe it or not, we're going to create some beautiful magic with this burlap. I have a heavy duty pair of scissors, and I'm going to start cutting scallops in the top of this burlap. Now you can remove the rubber band or twine, whatever you use to hold it on, and the burlap is conforming to the shape of the bucket. The burlap bucket's got the same rope treatment that the other buckets did. It's going to make a beautiful, cohesive statement through the whole patio. And once you see what I'm filling the buckets with, you're going to run to your local Home Depot and grab some for your next barbecue. This is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Please join me for my 2019 Home Depot Patio Style Challenge reveal coming soon.